Hi, welcome to Moveeno Recap. Smashing the subscribe button is very valuable to us, so go ahead and leave us a like. Sit back and enjoy.
At the start of the film, Jack McCall is tending to a tree that appears to be struggling to survive, as indicated by its few leaves. Jack is under a constraint with his mouth taped, as he may die if he utters a few more words than necessary. Despite this limitation, Jack is a proficient and accomplished agent in the book publishing industry. As his wife attends to their child's diaper, Jack gets ready to head off to work. After departing from his home, Jack makes a brief stop at a coffee shop. Upon his arrival, he observes the extensive queue and makes an attempt to engage in conversation with an elderly woman, but unfortunately, he is unable to do so. With no other alternative, Jack joins the back of the line but soon comes up with a humorous notion to expedite his coffee order. He pretends to receive a phone call indicating that his wife is in labor, which results in him promptly receiving his desired cup of coffee. Jack's gift of talking has made him well-liked and brought him numerous lucrative opportunities. During a meeting with his co-workers, he introduces them to Dr. Sinja, a renowned spiritual figure with a large following that rivals that of even the most popular speakers. Despite his colleagues' doubts that he can successfully promote a spiritual movement, Jack is interested in pursuing a business deal with Sinja. Jack is confident in his ability to persuade anyone to do anything. He attends a spiritual gathering hosted by Sinja, where he participates in meditation with others despite not knowing the correct chant and repeatedly using the wrong words. When Sinja delivers his speech, Jack feigns a deep emotional connection to the words and even cries out loudly, drawing Sinja's attention. Despite his efforts to deceive Sinja, Jack's true intentions are revealed when Sinja confronts him and asks why he is there. Jack quickly admits that he wants to publish Sinja's book because he believes in him, but Sinja rejects his proposal. Undeterred, Jack continues to plead with Sinja as they walk through a garden. While there, Jack is bitten by a tree, but Sinja reminds him that trees do not have teeth. Following a lengthy conversation, Sinja ultimately relents and allows Jack to publish his book. Delighted by his success, Jack contacts his assistant Aaron to cancel his appointments for the day so that he can spend time with his mother. He then visits his mother, who is living in a nursing home and celebrating her birthday. Due to her senile condition, she mistakenly believes that Jack is her husband Raymond, a confusion that persists throughout his visit. Jack wishes his mother a happy birthday and eventually departs from the nursing home. Later on, while having dinner with his wife Caroline, she presents him with a photo of a stunning apartment and proposes that they purchase it to serve as their home as a nod to his former bachelor lifestyle. However, Jack is not enthusiastic about the idea and instead proposes that they refurbish his studio and transform it into a room for their child, Tyler. As they debate the merits of the two housing options, an earthquake strikes, causing a tree to emerge from the ground. Jack ventures outside and recognizes the tree as the same one that had bitten him earlier. Driven by a newfound sense of responsibility, he resolves to take care of the tree and begins to speak to it while touching its trunk. As he speaks, leaves begin to fall from the tree in direct proportion to the number of words that he utters. The following day, Jack falls ill and his assistant Aaron informs him that Sinja has sent over his book. However, Jack is shocked to discover that the book is only 5 pages in length. Enraged by the brevity of the work, he heads to Sinja's home to confront him about the matter. Upon arrival, Jack demands answers about the book and also shares his experiences with the mysterious tree that had appeared in his yard. Sinja is taken aback by Jack's revelation and accompanies him to his house to witness the leaves falling from the tree with each word that Jack utters. Sinja soon realizes that Jack is somehow linked to the tree and warns him that he too will die if the tree perishes from the loss of its leaves. Sinja reveals that there are only 1,000 leaves remaining on the tree, a fact that terrifies Jack. Desperate to save himself, Jack rushes off to retrieve an axe in order to cut down the tree, but a sudden gust of wind throws him back and he sustains a wound on his waist. Jack is feeling confused and approaches Sinja to ask what may have happened to him, but Sinja denies any wrongdoing and asserts that he has never witnessed anything like that before. However, Sinja decides to travel to Bolivia to inform his acquaintances about a tree. Before leaving, he informs Jack that he will return in 3 days and advises him to stay silent. The following day, Jack wakes up from a dreadful nightmare. He sees himself expelling leaves from his mouth, and subsequently utters a word in an attempt to verify if he's still linked to the tree. To his astonishment, he discovers that the connection remains. After dressing up, he opts to leave a message for Caroline, but to his dismay, leaves keep falling every time he writes a word. At the coffee shop, Jack resorts to signing to communicate, although the waiter is unable to comprehend his gestures and serves him more than he requested. Upon exiting the establishment, a visually impaired individual approaches him and asks for assistance in crossing the street. However, since Jack is unable to speak, he makes a noise to signal the man when it's safe to proceed, and the individual proceeds to cross the road. In a rush to assist the visually impaired man, Jack chases after him, resulting in several vehicles colliding with each other. During his therapy session, Jack surprises his therapist by using sign language to communicate, and he speaks extensively throughout the session. While at work, Jack remains quiet, which prompts Aaron to assume that he is angry and reveals all the secrets he has been keeping, such as kissing Jack's wife. Shortly after, Jack is introduced to a group of French investors, but he struggles to communicate with them effectively due to his preoccupation with the tree. Meanwhile, a pair of squirrels are playing on the tree, causing Jack to experience a tickling sensation all over his body. Unable to endure the feeling, Jack abruptly departs, abandoning the investors and Samantha. Later on, Jack arranges a meeting with some clients and requests Aaron to handle all the communication. However, Aaron's use of offensive language during the meeting results in the failure to secure a deal with the clients. Meanwhile, at home, the gardener is watering the tree, causing Jack to sweat profusely. During a gathering with fathers and their children, Jack is singled out for not singing along with the rhythm and is compelled to participate. Later that evening, Caroline requests to speak with Jack, but he struggles to communicate effectively, which leads to her becoming upset. Feeling helpless, Jack contacts Dr. Sinja for an update, but Sinja informs him that there is no new information at the moment. The next day at work, Samantha informs Jack that she has secured another client for him following the previous night's incident and requests that he finalize the deal. While on the call, Jack employs a doll to communicate with the clients and requests Aaron to procure more dolls. Surprisingly, the unconventional approach proves successful, and they manage to secure a deal. Meanwhile, Caroline's friend gifts her a stimulant to enhance her romantic relationship with Jack. Shortly after, Jack departs for the hotel, and Caroline asks him to instruct her on how to be provocative in their interactions. So, things didn't go according to Jack's plan cause he couldn't even say a thing when he finally tried. He attempted to tell the truth about the tree, but she didn't buy it and kicked him out with no clothes on. As Jack was leaving, he got a call from Aaron, who informed him that Samantha was meeting with some clients. Also, someone sent her Sinja's book, but Jack forgot to mention that it's 5 pages long. He quickly goes to the meeting to prevent her from showing them the book. While they're at the restaurant, Jack starts acting up and being silly because the tree is getting sprayed with pest spray, which makes him cough. Soon after, Mary shows up with a book and tells them it's 5 pages long. The meeting gets interrupted while Jack keeps on misbehaving. Samantha gets mad and fires Jack. Jack brings Aaron back to his place and tells him what happened. He also demonstrates how the leaves fall when he talks. Aaron thinks it's just chance, and the leaves keep falling. Afterwards, he looks at a photo album and comes across a picture of him and his mom. He does what Sinja said and tries to connect with his past, but he's shocked when his younger self recognizes him as his father. Jack's health is getting worse and he meets with Sinja at a restaurant, where he explains how Caroline left him and took their son, and how he lost his job. So, Sinja basically tells Jack that he can't give him the answers he's looking for and suggests that he figures it out for himself. He also advises him to make things right with Caroline and prove his love to her through actions, not just words. Later that night, Jack stumbles back home completely wasted. Meanwhile, Aaron hurries over to Jack's place to tell him about a plan to sell Sinja's book and rescue his job, but Jack is too hammered to pay attention. Jack heads over to the tree and starts putting all the blame on it for everything that's gone wrong in his life. He even smashes the tree with his bottle, but ends up getting hurt himself. Aaron tries to interrupt him and yells at him to shut up, but Jack won't listen and goes back inside to jam out to some tunes. He starts singing and dancing along to the music, but Aaron ends up having to knock him out to keep him from blabbering on. After that, he tapes up his phone and mouth and takes off from the house. At the same time, there are just a handful of leaves left on the tree. The following morning, Jack wakes up and sees those few leaves left on the tree, which bums him out. He decides to give the tree some water and tries to connect with it mentally, asking for advice. So as he's watering the tree, he gets a phone call from the nursing home telling him it's his mom's birthday and she's hoping to see his dad, Raymond. Jack doesn't respond and goes back to watering the tree. He gets sidetracked when he notices a butterfly and decides to check out the small 5-page book it's sitting on. After reading the book, he heads out to meet Caroline and let her know how much he loves her. He leaves to hand the waiter some Beatles records and even lends a hand to his chauffeur to sell his book. This makes him feel pretty darn good. After that, he catches up with his mom and doesn't correct her when she calls him Raymond. He chills out and lets her talk about how proud she is of him. She mentions that Jack's still pissed because he thinks Raymond ditched him, and she hopes he can move on and be happy. Then she's all like, "Tell Jack how much you love him, Ray." Later on, she slips up and calls him Jack, and Jack tells her, "I love you, Mom," before leaving, with only 3 leaves on the tree. Jack goes to Raymond's grave to sort himself out, and after a bit of meditation, he forgives his dad and drops his last 3 words. And then, he just collapses onto the ground as the rain pours down. Soon after, Aaron hits up Jack with a call, telling him that the tree has come back to life and he's still kicking. Jack writes a book about his experience called 1,000 Words, and Aaron's now his agent, working hard to find the perfect client to sell it to. Jack shows Sinja some love and leaves. But then, Aaron starts to become like Jack as he gets promoted, and he gets his own office tree. At the end of the movie, Jack presents Caroline with the dream home she has always desired, making her to be pleasantly surprised. However, Caroline cautions him that their relationship won't automatically return to normal simply because he bought the house. Despite this, Caroline is content and admires the tree located within the property. The family joyfully gathers around the tree, creating a heartwarming scene. Please subscribe and turn on notifications to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.